Hello. What's up? What's up, Truth to Tweet, Ember 33, Jesus, Vegan Justice, Sean Comets. Can you see and hear me okay? Is everything good? Everything good? Everything good? Bang, boom, 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 boom. Graham Elwood for president, you got it. Sugar Shane. I'm here for the vegan guns. What's up, Victory Jim? Boom. Look at him. Pow. Look at him. Boom. Kick ass tonight, Graham. Sound great. Thank you, William Young. What's up, Sean Comets? Sounding good, looking good, right on. Buenos noches, Joshua Pegg. Hello, Kim. I don't think anything happened to Jimmy. I think he might just be taking a couple of days off. Fantastic smoothie, folks. Here's what we got. Graham, hey, good day from Perth. Nice. Traditional spelling of Graham. I love it. Like me some Perth too. I'll talk about the tea in a second. Let's talk smoothies, guys. Let's talk vegan smoothies. Organic unsweetened almond milk. Half a frozen organic banana. I just put in 2 frozen strawberries. And then mainly blueberries, obviously. Unsweetened organic peanut butter, handful of frozen greens, and vanilla vegan protein powder. Pierogies are delicious. This is 6 days with no Jimmy. Oh, wow. He took a week off, I think. Good for him. We all need vacations. Somebody suggested pouring coconut water in this and drinking it rather than just rinsing it out, which is good. I'm gonna try that right now. I was listening to Wyclef Jean earlier. Girl, you got to understand, I can't have a 9 to 5. That is why I'll be gone till November. I'll be gone till November. Tell my girl I'll be gone till November. January, February, March, April, May. Girl, I can't stay. I'll be... All right, here's what we're gonna do. This is just coconut water, and then you rinse it out. It looks a little weird. Oh my God, that tastes great. And now I'm not wasting all that fruit. Look, thank you. Still gotta rinse it out because we gotta wash it because we're not living in a jungle. But that tasted great. Thanks for the suggestion. Whichever one of you suggested that. Awesome. Cranberries are awesome. Yes, they are. On the positive side, we've had some great democratic initiatives such as economic initiatives, voters' rights, etc. Most noticeably, we had paper ballots as backups. Cool. Yeah, there's good stuff happening, man. Hey, Graham. Good morning from the future here in Shenzhen, China. What's up? Oh, I love China. Tom Cotton cried about his First Amendment rights being abridged by the New York Times, but isn't that paper a private organization like the NFL? Yeah, sincerely, Colin Kaepernick. Oh, shit. Yeah, Mark, I'll try to do a whole series on vegan lifestyle. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Share this out on your social media. I'll do the same. That is why I'll be gone till November. I'll be gone till November. Tell my girl I'll be gone till November. January, February, March, April, May. Girl, I can't stay. I'll be... Yep. Oh, boy. Just putting a segment together, kids. Putting a segment together. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure you've hit the bell notification button. We don't want you to not get notifications. Even if you hit the bell notification and the subscribe button in the past, YouTube has been known to uncheck people with that. And I don't want you unchecked. I'm singing that song because that's the last live music concert I saw. Was the weekend. It was like February 22nd or 23rd. We were doing Jimmy Dore live at Harlow's in Sacramento. And after Jimmy's show that Friday, Wycliffe Jean was playing, and Ron and I and Ruby and Arno all hung out to watch it, and it was so awesome. It was so cool. Intimate little setting. I mean, it was just great, man. And all those songs I remember, man. Gone Till November. Ron and I were like, man, that's the like road dog song, you know? Girl, I can't stay. I'll be gone till November. It like brings tears to my eyes because it's just like such a beautiful, and it's just so, if you're an entertainer that travels a lot and you have a significant other and you got to tell them, I gotta be gone. There's always like a, no, you know, it's always like a, it's, and that's to me what that song is all about. You know, and he's like, girl, you got to understand, I can't have a 9 to 5. Just that's like Ron and I are just like, yeah, I couldn't do a 9 to 5. So I'll be gone till November. You know, and it's just like, yeah, that song speaks to any entertainer that travels for a living. It's just like, it's so, oh man. God. It's just unbelievable. Ugh. So I listen. I don't do Spotify because it's paid. Pandora's free. I like Spotify. I've used it and I like all this playlists and stuff. I just don't want to. I don't want to pay. So, you know what I'm saying? Oh. Like, share, and subscribe. We had a good live stream last night on Rockfin. It was free. It was a nice little community of Rockfinners. Of Rockfinnegans. You Rockfinnegans? Sounds like some sort of Irish gang. Boom, 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 boom. Girl, you got to understand, I can't have a 9 to 5. That is why I'll be gone till November. I'll be gone till November. Tell my girl I'll be gone till November. January, February, March, April, May. Girl, I can't stay. I'll be... Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. 169 watching, 79 likes. Hit the like button. Like, share, subscribe. Gamer for life. How are you? Christian Santos, sup, Graham? Just got off work. What's new today? Well, we're going to get into it. Christian. Provincia Felisa. Hey, G, greetings from the Netherlands. Hello, people from all over the world. How great is that? What's your thoughts on what Marianne Williams is doing now about the progressive candidates? Oh, I'm not sure. What is she? I haven't seen what she's doing. Melissa H, Bethlehem, hello. I can. Please hit the like button. Blabbin. Please share this on your social media that I'm live. Those things always help. And just remember that I'm gone till November. I'll be gone till November. Tell my girl I'll be gone till November. January, February, March, April, May. Girl, I can't stay. Oh. Oh, boy, the Democrats really got our backs, don't they? Oh. Boom, 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 boom. Tell my girl I'll be gone till November. I'll be gone till November. Tell my girl I'll be gone till November. January, February, March, April, May. Girl, I can't stay. Oh. All right, kids, what do you say now? What do you say? God, here's a video from Backyard Politics showing the Salem Police Department favoring armed militia. Share this. I'm going to share this right now. And I said last night I'm going to get Nikki on the show and we're going to look at that. It's unbelievable. Here we go, kids. Hit the like button. 202 people watching. My name is Grab Elwood. I have not watched the Epstein doc on Netflix yet. I have not. Becoming a cop should be nearly impossible, and staying one should be even harder. Absolutely. Hickenlooper. Sydney Samsara. Hey, I say get an inflatable bubble and hit the road. You'll be able to cross swimming pools. Oh. Oh, man. Also, folks, yeah. I'm gonna make sure that you can, okay, good. It's going through the soundboard. We got it. We get it. We got it. We boom. Boom. So Mark asked a question earlier about the Vigilante. So that, I have it here. And stupid Joe Biden. Yeah, so I have the Vigilante. It's here. I'm just waiting on my web designer. Came last week, and just obviously last week was very nuts. So, but I will have this tea blend that is unique. So it's a blend of Chinese green tea and Japanese green tea, and that's never been done before. And some people might go, what's the difference? It's like, well, part of it is cultural. The Japanese and the Chinese don't necessarily get along, and they both feel that their green tea is better. But it's never been done, and I'm going to release a video about how it was made. I did this interview with Jeffrey from ZT, ZHITEA, and the fucking sound cut out on my end. So I'm watching the recording, and it's this great conversation about making tea, and this fucking sound. So, but there is this really cool video that Jeffrey made and a friend of his edited about how this specific tea is going to be available, or what it's put together in the region from China that it's from, and the region from Japan that the Japanese green tea is from. And I'm really proud of it. It's this cool thing, and it'll be available on my website. I'll put the link on like Patreon first for like 25 minutes. Patreon folks will get it first, and then it'll be available to everybody. It's $20, and that includes shipping. And it's, if you've ever made loose leaf tea, it comes in like about a 4-ounce tin, and you don't need a lot, and it'll last you forever. Not forever, but it'll last you a while. And the thing too about green tea, well, all loose leaf teas, is if you have like a nice infuser, you steep it for about 3 minutes, and then pull the tea out and on the counter, and then put it back into, don't let it sit in there and just soak, and pull it out, and then put it back in when you want to pour more hot water on it. So good. Let's answer some super chats. Matt asks, shave your knuckles for justice. That video you did about the art and peace on boarded up buildings was amazing. People can surprise you in the best ways. Yeah, thanks, Matt, for showing that. Thank you for supporting the show. You can do what Matt just did. You can hit the dollar icon. It's a great way to support the show. And what happened? This was Saturday. A buddy of mine that used to live in Santa Monica came up, and we were hanging out, and we got lunch, and I said, have you seen it? Like what happened in Santa Monica with the riots and the looting? And he goes, no. And I said, let's drive through. And I just wanted to show him, because of just all the boarded up buildings. And we start driving through downtown Santa Monica, and I'm like, wait a minute. And I see this building is painted, and that building's painted, and this painted, and that. And I was like, so, dropped him off, and then like about a half hour, whatever, 40 minutes later, I rode my bike back down there, and I started talking. I talked to this one artist who told me that there's this group called Paint the City Peaceful. And they put out a thing on Instagram saying, we need artists in downtown Santa Monica. And it was just beautiful. And it was all messages of love and peace and unity. And there was a guy just on his motorcycle just looking at it. I interviewed him. I interviewed one of the artists, and I interviewed this woman who lives in Venice Beach, who's right next to Santa Monica. There's a lot of artists that live in Venice Beach. And it's really powerful. It was like, it brought tears to my eyes, because it was like seeing my city all boarded up is heartbreaking. And there's still military. I'm here in military occupied Santa Monica. And that was just like an unexpected, beautiful thing to come out of this awfulness. And it's a whole street. It's a whole row. I mean, it's like blocks. It's amazing. So if you're in Los Angeles, come to downtown Santa Monica and see it and take pictures of it and share it on your social media. It's important, you know, because this shows what we can pull out of this. You know, there's so many things, obviously, ending police brutality, defunding the police, revamping the whole police system, all of that. All that stuff's important. And how powerful art can be and how powerful going to the light. I was watching Return of the Jedi. I love those Star Wars movies. I grew up watching them, you know, and they're always talking about the dark side. And the Return of the Jedi, Luke has to face the Emperor, who's just pure evil. He's one of the best villains in all of cinema. I'm afraid the shield generator will be quite operational when your friends arrive. Like, he's sitting there with his hand on the lightsaber. You want this? Strike me down, boy. Like, he's this pure evil. He's just everything that's evil. Like, it's just, he's such a great villain. But those movies talk a lot about, and it's rooted in Buddhism, you know, vengeance, anger. That's the dark side. And Luke is always battling that. And like, I've been battling that my whole life too. I think we all have as humans, but I really, this past week or so, seeing the cops and watching these videos of the cops beating the shit out of people, if I wanted to go get revenge, you know, and then seeing these white nationalists show up in Seattle 2 days ago, driving through people with a gun, and it makes me want to like go get revenge, you know. And you see the dark side. It brings out the dark. That's the dark side. And the dark side's very powerful. But love and light and compassion, that's the Force. That's the Jedi. Jedis were obviously like samurai. So seeing artists do that was like, wow, that's really what happened. What happened? Come on. No? What happened? What's going on? What happened? Why did we lose the TV? Same in Seattle. The outpouring of support for protesters is crazy. Literally had so much donated water and snacks, they told people to stop. Nice. I learned the Star Wars Empire march for playing to cops at protests. Use the task force, Luke. Ian McDiamond was great, yeah. Watch the interview with a witness of George Floyd's killing. He was a martial arts guy who's not sure why he kept so calm and didn't beat the cop's ass. Yeah, Star Wars copied Hidden Fortress by Kurosawa. Lucas made Kurosawa's Ran as thanks. See what happens when you talk about Palpatine? Both the police and military are affected with white supremacists. Of course they are, which is the dark side. So why is this thing suddenly not working? What's going on? Always with the tech thing. Maybe I need a new HDMI cable. That's good. What's going on? Okay. Source. Show me your souls. Bah? Babu boo boo? See, you're unknown. Don't tell me unknown. TV, robot. Talking to me like you know me. You don't know me, TV. But yeah, check that video out. I just released it. And then again, if you're in Los Angeles, come to downtown Santa Monica and see the art. It's beautiful. It is beautiful. And that's how we have to combat this, because they want us to fight. Cops showing up and right. There's been a lot of protests in Los Angeles this past week, and they haven't gotten violent because the cops have sort of hung back. Weird. They just let people exercise their First Amendment right, and they didn't show up in riot gear and automatic weapons. Huh. Weird. Weird. It's amazing how that white people are just now finding out how screwed up cops are. The reaction is priceless. Yeah, and it's true. And it's like middle-class white people, you know, look, I'm a middle-class white person, and I grew up in an all-white, almost predominantly white city of Madison, Wisconsin, and then I moved to Evanston, Illinois, which is like 40 or 50% black, and that's when I started to see things, and I saw how the Chicago police were with a lot of people, and it was like, woo. So I've seen some of that brutality, and it's pretty gnarly, and a lot of white people saw it this past week and a half, 2 weeks, and unfortunately, I'm sorry that happened, but that's sort of what needed to happen. Like, because some poor white people have had the shit kicked out of them by the police, but everybody got to see. And then the social media has been really important because, see, I remember Rodney King in 1992. I was in my early 20s. There was no internet. So we were totally dependent upon the corporate media to feed the narrative. So the corporate media showed Reginald Denny, that white truck driver that they dragged out at that intersection and beat him. That meant they showed that over and over and over to say, hey, stay scared, white America, stay scared, stay scared. So a lot of white people were like, God, it's fucked up what happened to Rodney King. It's fucked up those cops got freed. They got acquitted. But, you know, I don't know if I should. And now white people are seeing, they're really seeing, and it's important. It's important. White people are seeing this firsthand, how brutal the cops are. White people are posting videos of rubber bullets and getting this fucking brute, and it's unbelievable. The cops just acted like animals, man. Just boom, 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 just treated people. It's unreal. And everyone's getting to see how, and it's not just this police department, it's all police departments. From small towns to big ones, all police departments are reacted the same way. The same way. They all reacted the same way. So it's important. It's an important moment in history. And anyone that's like, oh, all lives matter, just tell them you're on the wrong side of history. You're the same. You're the people in those black and white photos. You know, you see all those red. You know, like in the 60s, the black people were like sitting at a lunch counter because they weren't at the white lunch counter. All those white rednecks like pouring. That's you're on the wrong side of history. You're on the wrong side of history. That's the photo. That's who you're going to be. History is going to capture that, and that's who you are. You're on the wrong side of history if you don't support Black Lives Matter and don't call out police brutality and systemic racism. And if you're a white nationalist, you're against America. Actually, you're a fascist. So white nationalist, that's fascism. So World War II, and I said this before, Antifa stands for anti-fascist, right? So World War II service members were anti-fascist, right? They fought fascists. And people have said, well, Graham, Antifa's done all these violent, awful things. Are people that call themselves Antifa, some of them too violent and won't listen to yeah, of course, that's bad. But if you're a white nationalist, you're a fascist. which means you're against the United States of America. If you're waving the Confederate flag, that is an army. The Confederacy wanted to defeat the United States of America, so that means you're against America. And don't tell me you're a Christian, because Jesus would never be doing any of this. Jesus would, show me in the Bible where Jesus shot rubber bullets at peaceful protesters. Show me where Jesus said, get an AR-15. Jesus said, build walls. Jesus said, you know, black people are less than me. Did Jesus say that? Jesus, a person of color. The Bible clearly describes him. Jesus washed the feet of the poor. So we just all have to call it out, especially white people. It's on us now. We really have to call this out. We cannot stand by and let this continue to happen. It's on us, and it's good to see positive change coming out of the last 2 weeks. It's not going to be an easy road. It's not going to happen quick, and we can't let it go. And just like, you can't protest every day and look at social media every day. You'll burn out and go nuts. But we got to stay on it. It's got to keep going. We got to keep going. We got to just not accept their handouts, because they're going to give, here's a little handout. Here's a little table scrap, and expect us to take it. I got some segments lined up to talk about that very thing. Let's read some super chats. Melissa H. Melissa, shave your knuckles for justice. 344 watching, 190 likes. Please hit the like button. Black Lives Matter support march today in Bristol, Vermont. Amazing number of people in a town under 4,000. High school kids organized it. I got an interview with them and footage. Awesome, Melissa. Right on. That's what it's taken. People, and especially, man, hats off to the young people. Anybody watching this show that's like under 30 or even under 25, that's just like, no, it's like young people are like getting out there. Really, it's impressive to watch. And I get it, because if you're under the age of, well, first of all, if you're under the age of, 35, we've been at war for over half your life. You've seen capitalism just destroy your parents' lives, probably, your families, your friends' lives. You've seen one police brutality video after another. I mean, there was Rodney King, and then there was years of not seeing another one of those. And we're learning, because we didn't have these in our pockets back then. Now we do. So nothing has changed, except we all have one of these. So now everyone's seeing, wait a minute, this isn't just like, oh, these one hand, the bad apple, a couple of bad apple cops. No, this is systemic, man. This is the way cops are trained and everything. So good for you. Bethlehem, testify. Ready or not, Fugees, for your next song. Thanks for all you do. You got it, man. You got it. Sean Comets, what's up, Sean? Check out Sean's a political cartoonist, political artist. Check out his work. Making art from an uncomfortable place or angry feels more important than from comfort and luxury. Are you feeling the same lately? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is really uncomfortable for America, especially white people. This is a really uncomfortable time for white people. Black people have been dealing with this shit for years, decades, centuries. I mean, any black person that's alive today can tell you from the time they were whatever age, they've seen this shit happen. So, and a lot of like white people are uncomfortable talking race. I didn't have that, because like I said, I moved to Evanston, Illinois when I was 11, almost 12 years old. And I was confronted with it immediately. My junior high was 60% black, Choate Middle School, go Eagles. And then my high school was 40% black, Evanston Township High School, go Kits. And I was playing sports, so I was playing football. And we were in the locker room and on the bus and at practice and after, and my teammates that were black were always talking about it and pointing to shit. We were talking about that all the time. So I was never uncomfortable about it. And as I got older, some of my white friends would be like, oh yeah, I don't want, like if another black person was around, they didn't want to, they were like uncomfortable to talk about it. And I was like, that's so weird. That's so weird. I remember 5, 6 years ago, a buddy of mine that I was working with, he grew up in DC. But he went to a primarily white high school and white schools in DC. And I remember like, he and I were going to get a bite to eat. We were at some like, you know, fast food kind of place, not necessarily, whatever, where you get a tray of food. And so you walk to the counter and I'm ordering, and this girl behind the counter, and she's cute, and I'm kind of flirting with her and talking, and all right. And after, he goes, man, that was uncomfortable. I go, what are you talking about? She was a black woman, and I was flirting with her, you know, differently than I would with a white woman, because I grew up, you know, my high school, like I said. So, you know, she was like, giving me some of that. And I was like giving some of it back, and it was like fun. And it was like hilarious. And he was like, oh, that was weird. I go, what? And I really was like perplexed. I was completely perplexed that, like, I was like, I was just flirting with that woman. What do you? And that's because he grew up in an all-white area, and probably his interactions with the black community were like limited, and maybe they were like not like it was just like, fuck you white boy, or get out of here cracker, whatever. Like, I had another friend of mine who grew up in an all-white in Philly, and his only interaction one time is he like rode his bike through the, you know, a black neighborhood, and someone said, get the fuck out of here cracker, and he was like, that's it, that was it. He was just like, that's it, you know. And so I think this is a lot of like, you know, that protest that I was asked to speak at briefly at in Santa Monica on Thursday, and I posted that video. This dude came up to me afterwards. Several people came up to me. One of them was this black guy that works in show business, who's probably looks like maybe my age, mid to late 40s. And he was like, man, he was talking about a protest he was at in LA. He's like, man, this is the most amount of white people I've ever seen in a Black Lives Matter protest. This is all right, cool. And I think it's more, we're having more conversations, and you know, like me and my friend that I drove through Santa Monica, who, you know, I've known him for a long time, and we're both like middle-class white guys, right? And he works in production. We met at an acting school years ago. I've known him for 20-some years. We're surf buddies. And he and I are both sort of pointing out, and we've been doing this for several years now, like where we have white male privilege or just white privilege. And anytime one of us points it out, the other guy goes, yeah, you're right. That's good. Yep, absolutely. That's right. And those are the conversations, like when white people are like, what do I do with this? Those are the conversations. We all have to like acknowledge our white privilege. We got to go, yeah, fuck, you know? And, you know, we're all victims of how and where we were born. We're all victims of being born in America and the privilege of that. And one thing all Americans have in common is, you know, unless you emigrated here from a country, is we don't know what it's, we have the privilege of not knowing what it's like. If you were born and raised here, we have the privilege of not knowing what it's like to be bombed like people in the Middle East that are getting the shit bombed out of them. So we just all got to acknowledge that and talk about it, and have some uncomfortable conversations, and be willing to listen and be willing to talk about it. It's just, we just have to. That's just, we can't. America's been putting Band-Aids on this problem for years. All the protests and riots in the 60s and 70s, and then we thought, okay, we got it. We figured, we got, you know, we passed the Civil Rights Act, and we just been doing little, again, incremental centrism. The neoliberals are the biggest blocks to lefty progressive stuff happening. And then, you know, identity politics and diversity is more just like window dressing tricks to keep like neoliberals going, okay, yeah, we've made progress. And it's just like Kamala Harris, you know, Condoleezza Rice, and, you know, we have a female mayor in Santa Monica and a female chief of police. But if the structure hasn't been changed, then it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm all for more women and people of color being put in positions of power, but if they're in power of a racist, corrupt, only benefiting the oligarch structure in whatever it is, policing, politics, healthcare, whatever, then it's not, that's nothing. That's nothing. That's not going to change. That's just like Cornel West said, Barack Obama was just the first black leader of the American empire. So we got to like do systemic change, which is what everyone's talking about now, which we got to stay on top of it. And I'm a grown-ass brown woman, they still fuck with me. Speak Spanish fluently. Sometimes when I shop, I talk with my wife or friends, then I'm shadowed. They think I'm going to steal something. All right, Spectrum 86. Shave your knuckles for justice. Graham, when will the protest be about the economic dictatorship? Well, that's a great question. And I think that this is the thing I'm noticing from the protests I've been at, the people there, the signs, and what people are talking about, and what I'm seeing on social media. That's a part of the conversation right now. Because everybody realizes, like everyone's stepping back, seeing, so what's funding, why is there systemic racism, and because there's white supremacists, absolutely, but there's a big profit motive in for-profit prisons and arming our police with weaponry, military grade weaponry. So in the same way that our military on our foreign policy is fueled by the military-industrial complex. We need a bad guy, right? We need Al-Qaeda, we need Russia, we need, Chavez and now Maduro, we need evil Iran. We need those enemies to justify the to spend all this money on war. So we need a scary criminal, we need a bad man, we need a boogeyman. So it's the terrorists, it's over there, and it's the black man here, right? So I believe it's really part of the conversation that's happening with these protests. I mean, there was a protest in Hollywood, and I saw the video, and I think Convo Couch posted it. And this young black guy was like, we got to go because I'm sick of the rich in Beverly Hills and their fancy stores, and was like calling out the crimes of capitalism, because capitalism is a part of this. Going back to slavery. Yes, there's racism and, we're the superior race, so we'll just enslave. But the enslavement of Africans and indigenous people and taking their land was for money. That was capitalism, man. I mean, it was imperial colonialism, but it was still about property and money and power. So we need cheap labor. So we're going to enslave these people that we think are less than us. We need this land to make a profit, so we're going to take this land from these indigenous people that are clearly we think are less than us. So this capitalist power grab has been around for centuries, and that's a big part of this. So it's still being carried. All that stuff is still today. For-profit prisons, always more money for war, always more money for militarizing the police, but we don't have money for education, we don't have money for the homeless, we don't have and all these things are part of it. So I think that conversation is, I know I'm seeing it, I'm hearing it, I'm watching it. That's part of this. Because everyone's like, look, the defund the police is an economic thing. And in that conversation, everyone's like, why are we spending all this money on all this stuff and we don't have schools and we have homeless people? Like, defund the police. Well, what are you going to do? We've been defunding education for decades, man. We've been defunding social programs for decades. If we'd been spending, if we start spending, take that money away and spend it on social programs, how much will we need the police if everyone's got a job and education and health care and housing, affordable housing, housing for the homeless and affordable housing for everybody else, so people aren't busting their ass to just barely pay their bills. People can save money, invest money. There's good paying jobs. How much crime would there need to be? How many people would need drugs and alcohol? People are drunk and high and addicted to stuff because life is horrible. It's miserable for a lot of people. And then what comes with that economic pressure is generational, intergenerational abuse. Think about all the abuse that happens in this country. Think about that. I mean, domestic abuse, child abuse, how much of that? I mean, each situation is different, but you know economics plays a huge part of that. Somebody's stressed, they can't pay their bills, they look at their kids as like another expense, whatever. I'm not justifying obviously any of the abuses, but let's pull it back and explain, why is this happening? Why does this keep, you know? And it's like, I was watching the Bruce Lee documentary on the 30 Be Water. It's beautiful, watch it. Bruce Lee was really awesome. And they talked about how the Chinese people were shown in movies, and Asians in general were shown as like, oh, buck teeth and racist, and how Hollywood had done that. And there was I forget the name of it, but it was like, it was basically something Chinese Immigration Act or something that was written in the late 1800s that said Chinese people are like not allowed to live here. And the Japanese internment camps in World War II, which was mainly for a land grab. And this guy said, was Chinese American, was like, it's like when you're like a rape victim that blames yourself. And that really resonated with me. Because if you've ever had any sort of abuse as a kid, as I have, there's a shame that comes with it. It's not logical or rational, but it's a shame that comes with it that says this was somehow my fault. And I've talked about that with my therapist when I did child, trauma therapy from what happened to me as a kid. And there was a lot, and for 2.5 years, and we did EMDR and somatic, which I highly recommend if you've had any trauma or repressed memories of trauma come forward. It's very powerful. And I remember saying, I feel like this is my fault. I should have defended myself when I was 3, which isn't a logical thought, but that's the emotion of it. So that's just me as an individual. Imagine that generation after generation after abuse, going back to slavery. Maybe there is it somehow my fault? Did we allow this to happen? Should we, like Native Americans, should we have fought harder? Should we have not signed that treaty? Whatever. Victims shaming themselves. So I was like, man, it's a powerful documentary, because a lot of Bruce Lee's movies talked about Chinese racism towards Chinese, and there's a scene, I forget which movie it is that he did, where it's like, no dogs or Chinese allowed, and he like jumps up and whoosh, and just smashes the sign. He like jumps. It's Bruce Lee. It's awesome, like I grew up loving Bruce Lee. So watch that documentary, because it helps show where this is coming from. It shows like, that movie obviously focuses on the racism towards Asians and specifically Chinese people and Chinese Americans, but that's still relevant today. Oh, the coronavirus, that's a Chinese virus, right? That's playing on that long history of racism. Oh, that was a long topic, huh? Artificial Morphosman, shave your knuckles for justice. Unicorn Riot covered city council speaking in Minneapolis and many powerful speakers from all walks of life about dismantling police. Check it out. Oh, awesome. I will check that out. Yeah, I hear they're like, in Minneapolis, they're just like, we're done. And of course, police are like going to walk off, and it's like, yeah. Emberg 33, what's up, Emberg? George Floyd was an activist, and by his death, we are having an integrated experience for the first time in centuries. He is probably satisfied if he's aware. Yeah. 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 Nick Baker, what's up, Nick? Shave your knuckles for justice. Thank you for supporting the show. You're making Gotham great again. Effing cops are making me hate apples now, too. Where's my water? Sorry. That's funny. Police want to walk off. Let them. The NSA has been watching me since I was in high school 20 plus years ago. Yep. We have industries whose profit is derived from human suffering. For-profit prison, insurance companies, lenders. Yep. Yep. Santa Clara County Jail, the women's jail, Elwood, is infested with women who have a history of sexual abuse. Of course. I'm sure you go to every jail. There's sexual abuse, child abuse, violence, childhood sexual trauma. I mean, I'm sure this is like, because when you're abused, you think, some part of you thinks, even if it's some subconsciously, well, I must be not worth it. I must be a piece of shit. And that manifests it's in several ways of self-hatred and self-abuse, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, whatever. And then it can manifest itself out in, oh, it's okay to abuse others or abuse animals or whatever. It's like, it's so fucking destructive. It is so destructive. It's so destructive. And that's what we've got. And we're not dealing with it. We're not dealing with PTSD. We're not dealing with mental health. We're not, and it's just, we're not dealing with the PTSD of the police departments. Most of these cops got PTSD. I told this story last night on Rockfin. So I was in Costco yesterday, and it wasn't as crowded. You know, things are sort of opening up, so the grocery store's not the crazy long line. I mean, you still got to wear a mask, and that's fine. You wipe down the cart. I finally got my unemployment, so I was like, okay. I was able to like actually stock up on some food, not just get like the bare minimum, you know, like it was nice. And one of those emergency fire door alarms went off, like me, whatever. And it wasn't close to me. It wasn't like right in my ear. It didn't like blare and make me go, oh, scare me. It was like good 50 yards away. But I heard it, and it sort of, as I've talked about, my PTSD from being in Afghanistan and Iraq has been triggered this past week by what I saw firsthand, and then the military and military helicopters and sirens. And I just heard that, and I just started like, oh. And I went through everything I learned from my multiple therapists on this about breathing and just reminding myself, and you know, it's like a keep your head where your feet are at and describe, like, I'm standing here, I'm in Costco, I'm not under attack, there's no cops, I'm not in a helicopter in Afghanistan, I'm not in a war zone, nobody's shooting me, I'm here, I'm getting food, it's okay, I'm safe. And I breathe, and I do this breathing exercise, and I was like, oh wow, I have all these tools. Now imagine if I had a badge and a gun, and I wasn't dealing with it, and I wasn't talked, and I was viewed as weak if I went and talked to the department head shrinker or whatever. Like, and that's what we're doing with these cops. Giving them a badge and a gun. Oh, you got PTSD? And it makes your nervous system like go on full alert, and then they have a badge and a gun. So they just, boom, they just overreact to everything. Then you've got the PTSD of the communities, like the black and brown and native communities that are brutalized by the police. They have PTSD. We're not dealing with any of this. We have 22 vets a day that commit suicide because they have PTSD from these wars, which again are for profit. Louise Brooks, adverse childhood experiences, ACES, ACEs, research, powerful. Thanks for that. Thanks for that, Louise. And thank you for Aline Love talking about women in jail have a history of being sexually abused. I would say the men, I would almost like the men. And men, like boys that are abused, are more prone to like violence when they become young men and adults. So we got to come at this whole thing. And we got to come at it from a place of love and understanding. We just have to. We just have to. Like, we're not at a tipping point. We're at the final tipping point. We have an opportunity here to like radically overhaul all the things that we all want, that we've all been talking, I've been talking about on this show for over 3 years, of like all the things we can fix: the systemic racism, the greed, the capitalism, the for-profit prisons and healthcare and all this stuff. Because if we don't, it's all this abusive, I mean, the abuse of the environment. We can just beat the shit out of the environment and take whatever the fuck we want for profit. So what? It's the same thing. We can abuse poor people. We can abuse people of color. We can abuse that poor country. We can abuse this. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit if taking this oil or these minerals fucks up your drinking supply. It makes me a profit. Fuck you, man. I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. And if you argue against me, I'm going to put the hammer down on you. You see how it's the same? It's unjust how you're treating the planet. Lies, lawsuits, cover up. You know, go chain yourself to a pipeline. They'll send the Tiger Swan. Look what they did. Standing Rock. They sent Tiger Swan down. They shot tear gas at people. They pepper sprayed people who just want clean, drinkable water. Hey, don't put your knee on our necks and murder us because we're black. Shut up. Cops, riot gear, tear gas. That's just how everything is reacted with by this brutal ruling class run by billionaires, many of whom are sex trafficking pedophiles. It's all connected. Think about the people that run this world. These soulless, evil motherfuckers, the most powerful people who control everything, think it's okay to rape and sell a child. Do you think they give a damn about putting the knee on the neck of somebody? Do you think they give a damn about the 85,000 kids that are dead in Yemen? Do you think they give a damn about that? We need these people out. We need us, the people, the 99%. We got to govern ourselves. Because we don't. We don't govern ourselves. The ruling class doesn't govern. They tell us what to do. They let us play voter every couple of years. All right. Wesley Barron. Wesley, thank you so much. Shave your knuckles for justice. Do you think the fact that Obama repealed habeas corpus in the NDAA renewal several years ago was the reason our country's special police forces were able to crack the skulls of the press so brazenly? That's a great thing to bring up, Wesley. It's a combination of things. Yes, that's the other thing. God, Obama did fucking awful shit. But it's what we saw this last week and a half is the culmination of a lot of things. The 13th Amendment, it's the culmination of the 1994 Biden crime bill, right? It's the culmination of Bill Clinton saying that, the Democrats being, we got to be tough on crime. It's the culmination of the Patriot Act. Because look at this, they're so worried about terrorists. Why won't we name the KKK a terrorist organization? Right? But what you're talking about is absolutely a big part of it. But I want to show you that this is bigger. This is part of the private. Now it's not a small thing. So I did that video back in 1989 that the private prison industry said We want to push gangster rap. So this shit's been going on for a while. So Obama repealing habeas corpus in the NDAA renewal several years ago absolutely is a big reason, not exclusively the reason. Yeah, the special, we're able to crack the skulls of the press so brazenly. Yeah, it's a big reason, but there's so many factors contributing to it. Private prison industry, right? The prison industrial complex, which needs to create criminals. The 94 Biden crime bill, people like Kamala Harris, you know, doing that video, more schools, less prison, all that shit. God damn, it makes me so fucking mad. Thanks for bringing that up, Wesley. It's a great point. Hit the like button, citizens of Gotham. Sean Comets, eat the rich or just make them pay taxes? I'm down with that. All right, let's do some segments, kitty cats, huh? Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Planet of the Karens. Thanks, hey, Gray. That's fucking funny as shit. Sharing is Karen. We must clean social movements from philanthropy money. All is done through foundations. A total cancer. Yeah, yeah. Maggie Craggy, thumbs up. NFL is right-wing military propaganda for sure. Absolutely correct. And it's a recruiting tool for young, mainly young men and some young women to join the military, to join, like, sign up. The video games, they promote military video games, which show being a soldier in war is fun, not how horrible it is. They don't show soldiers. If they showed soldiers committing suicide and the dismembered and prosthetic limbs and the death and destruction of people in the Middle East, they showed the 85 children, showed the 85 kids, 120 kids a day die in Yemen. If they showed that to people, no one would join. So they got to fly jets over and have this, you know, the NFL players run out with the American flag, and it's all part of the machine, man. Follow the money, connect the dots. All these things seem separate, but they're not. There's a reason the NFL is the most popular sport, and it is so right-wing and militarized. All of its owners but one are white. Who buys ad time during the NFL games? Right? Look at the messages. When you watch the corporate media, even sporting events, watch how they're feeding you bullshit. Right? Watch it. Watch the messages. Watch the video games. Watch the food ads. Watch all of it. All of it. You'll start to see the whole picture, man. How we've all been lied to and propagandized. We all have. We all have been lied to and propagandized. We've all been lied to. We were all born to think this is that and that is this, and we've all been fucking lied to, man. All of us. Every person in this country has been lied to. So the question is, you're going to believe it and pick one of their manufactured sides because they want us divided, distracted, and afraid? Or are you going to say, we've all been lied to? Movies, TV shows. I grew up watching cop shows. That character I do, Detective Kent Stryker, is a parody. I'm spoofing those 70s cop show guys because they were so over the top and they shot every, you know. But I look back at those shows and I go, look what I was shown. White male lead, good guy, flawed, but good guy. Criminals, black, white, Latino, poor people. You know, the impoverished. Sometimes they'd bust the big politician or whatever, but cops were the good guys. A couple of bad apples in one episode. Black people were depicted a very specific, stereotypical way. Every ethnic group was depicted in very stereotypical ways. The Dirty Harry movies, American exceptionalism. It's why I think movies that resonated with me so much, like The Deer Hunter or Apocalypse Now, because it showed the corruption of the war. But even those movies, As I got older, I remember, the editor for Hello Junkie, my short film, was Vietnamese. And he was like, oh, I hated those movies. I go, what? He goes, look at he goes, I'm Vietnamese. The way they depicted Vietnamese were either pajama terrorists, and the only time there's a Vietnamese woman in any of those movies, she's a prostitute. Full Metal Jacket. Oh, me so horny. That's the only time we see an Asian woman in that movie, is all me so horny, being a prostitute. We don't talk to or hear the voices of any of the Vietnamese people in any of those movies talking about how awful that war was for them. Even the ones like Deer Hunter and Apocalypse Now, which had very strong anti-war messages and get us out of Vietnam, they were still through the lens of like Hollywood, white Hollywood, even, liberal anti-war Hollywood, but still the white privilege of protesting a war and burning my draft card. That's still a lot of white privilege. That's American privilege, but that's white privilege. The Vietnamese had no choice. The war was on their soil. Americans had a choice. They could burn their draft card. They could try to get out of it. They could get a college deferment. Remember that Vietnam War? Did you know that? If you went to college, you got deferred from the draft. So who couldn't afford college? You went to Vietnam. Primarily people of color, poor white people, anyone who couldn't afford college, you went. So it was a privilege to grow your beard and long hair and protest and burn your draft card. That was a privilege. That was even more privilege. That was American white privilege. Because the Vietnamese, let's say there's Vietnamese, I'm sure there's Vietnamese people that I don't want to be a part of this war. They had no choice. The war was in their front and backyard. There was minefields, there was bombing, there was napalm, there was carpet bombing, there was B-52, they had no choice. That was a very powerful moment for me when this guy said that to me. Still, that's how we depicted the Vietnamese. The first Vietnam-related movie that I can remember that had Vietnamese characters talking and being human, not just running around. You just saw them with those hats, as that editor who was Vietnamese said, they just looked like, they were just pajama terrorists. They were just this sort of the VC Charlie out in the jungle. Was Good Morning Vietnam was the first time I was like, oh, those are Vietnamese. He's teaching in school. He's trying to date that girl. He meets her brother. That's the first time that I can think of in any Vietnam-related movie where we got to meet and talk to the Vietnamese, and they were humanized, and they were written three-dimensional characters on the script level. We're bombing 7 countries a day right now, right here, right now. It's happening. 120 kids in Yemen die every day. And that's been happening since 2014 or 2015, Obama's second term. But what's the Democratic Party doing about it? Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching The Political Vigilante. So, since the last 2 weeks of protests to end police brutality after the murder, cold-blooded lynching murder of George Floyd. A cop put his knee on the neck of him for 8 minutes and 45 seconds, roughly, while 3 other cops looked by and let it happen. So there's calls to defund the police. Like here in Los Angeles, we spend $3 billion on that goes to the LAPD every year. That budget just got approved. They just increased it. We're cutting social funding. We're cutting homeless programs. We're cutting homeless housing for the homeless. LA has a massive homeless population that has only increased during the shutdown from the COVID-19 pandemic. LA Unified School District has some okay schools, but guess what? This is going to be shocking. In the poor communities that are primarily Black and Latino and Asian in this town, they get shitty funding and shitty schools. So we're calling to defund the police, and there's a lot of plans being thrown around, like how we're going to do this. We're going to have community policing, we're going to have community outreach, we're going to just have, all this stuff. The Democrats, boy, they're on our side, right? They're going to help the Democrats. We know that's what we need. We need to get rid of Trump. I don't like Trump. He's awful. He's racist. He's acting like a fascist third world dictator, just night sticking, tear gassing people so he can walk across the street and hold a Bible upside down. Well, I'm going to deploy the military. Oh, wow. He wants to deploy the military? So you want to go against the Constitution? But Democratic governors and mayors have deployed the military. I'm in a city, Santa Monica. There's this California National Guards right here. I'm in military-occupied Santa Monica. The Democrats, though, they're going to resist Trump. That's what they're so good at. Biden Democrats seek to shut down calls to defund the police. Please tell me how you think Joe Biden is better. You hate Trump that much? Fine. I'm not going to vote for Joe Biden nor Trump. I will not vote for them. You want to vote for them? Maybe you're in a swing state? Fine. Vote for Joe Biden. Part of me really wants Biden to win, just so I can say, now what, motherfuckers? Because if Biden loses, they'll blame us. Oh, you burn bros, you progressives, it's your fault. Okay, fine. Vote for Joe Biden. Go vote for him. If you're in a swing state, vote for Joe Biden, because this is what you're going to get. You're going to get platitudes. Remember on the floor of the Senate, they all wore those and took the knee and oh boy, they took a platitude knee. 8 minutes and 46 seconds of incremental centrism. Fantastic. Biden, though, right? If you don't vote for Biden, you ain't black. Remember when he said that? Presumptive Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden and Democratic leaders on Capitol Hill are quickly shutting down calls to defund police departments. Okay, vote any blue or do. Tell again, yes. Keep telling me how the Democratic Party's better. The Republicans are the cop with their knee on the neck of George Floyd. The Democrats are the 3 cops standing around watching, letting it happen. Yep. That's the difference between the 2 parties. And you're telling me you want the lesser of 2 evils. How about fuck both of them? How about vote third party? How about let's start now? Who is the third party? Who are we going to make movement for a People's Party? Is it going to be Nina Turner? Nina Turner, if you're watching this, quit fucking around with the Democratic Party. They are not your friends. If you are who I think you are, if you're the actual person that you claim to be, and you're going to sit by and let this happen, and this is Bernie's party, AOC's party, Tulsi's party, the Squad's party. Yeah, they don't have our backs. They don't give a shit about us at all. They took a knee, they platitudes. Aren't they all still on break? Isn't Pelosi still in her ice cream fridge? The idea is splintering black activists and some prominent progressive lawmakers from Biden and top congressional Democrats while providing fodder for national Republicans. Of course. All the Democrats do is make it, they embolden the Republican Party by this stupid bullshit. Because there's not 2 parties. There's not 2 parties. There's the oligarchs. There's 2 classes in this country. There's the billionaire ruling class, most of whom are pedophile, sex trafficker, soulless bags of shit. And then there's all of us. Former vice president hears and shares the deep grief and frustration of those calling for reform, but that does not believe that police should be defunded. Oh, what a great platitude. Man, platitudes 2020. Because that's what we need right now. We've had 2 weeks of protests. There's been riots. There's been looting. There's been unparalleled police brutality against people. Just unbelievable. And this is the Democrat solution. This is their guy. They screwed Bernie over. They cheated. The UN said that the 2020 Democratic primary had all the earmarks of a rigged election. And Bernie let it happen, and now this is Bernie's party. Really? Nina Turner, do you really want to side with this party? Really? You and Cornel West run away from this party. Maybe Bernie and the squad will wake up from their lesser of two evils centrist nightmare or delusion. I don't know. Are they all having fever dreams? Like, what is causing this? And then people get mad at me if Graham, stop going after Joe Biden. Trump's evil. Yes, I hate Trump. I don't like Trump. Don't blame the messenger. I didn't do this. I donated to Bernie Sanders, which that means the DNC got some of that money. I donated to Tulsi Gabbard. I pushed the best guy. And I said from day one, I will not back whatever corporate Democrat they force down our throats if Bernie doesn't get the nomination. I will not. I've said that from day one. Don't get mad at me because this party sucks. I take shit all day from neoliberals online, friends of mine calling me. This is not, I didn't do this. This is not my fault. A comedian in his apartment that wears black t-shirts that are a size too small to show off his vegan guns. I'm not the one doing this. No, I don't support defunding the police. I support conditioning federal aid to police based on whether or not they meet certain basic standards of decency and honorableness. Oh, yes. Oh, I smell a task force. Oh, you smell that, guys? Oh, that smells like a task force. That's what we need. Yes, not just radical change from the ground. And guess what, Joe Biden? The city of Minneapolis doesn't give a shit about you and these sellout Democrats. They're already like, the city council of Minneapolis is like, we're done. It's happening. It's happening. And other cities are going, done, done, done. Some red state cities are doubling down. We're going to outlaw filming the police. Oh, wow. So you must hate the Constitution, Arizona. Oh. Conditioning federal aid. Let me interpret this with you. We will continue to stall because private prisons fund a lot of us. So we will commit a task force with a subcommittee that will get a standard review board that will give their results to another committee. And then that task force will be on a committee with a subcommittee whose initial findings will go to market research. And then after the market research comes out, pay attention, guys. This is important. Then somebody like AOC will be put on the market research subcommittee, which will then, that will get passed through a Ways and Means. Listen, pay attention, guys. Don't fall asleep. Hey, come on, this is important. So then the task force will be given back to the subcommittee, and then we will do a review, right? So that'll be somewhere around 2035. So then that task force will give their review, and hopefully we'll take back the Senate, because this is what's so great. This is a democratically controlled Congress. So when that happens, by now most of us have died because climate collapse. But anyway, there's a task force that has a committee, and and that's better than the Trump. Meanwhile, Mike Pence will become president, and he will be electrocuting the gay out of people because this task force. Oh, shut the fuck up. What did my good friend Jimmy Dore have to say? This is Bernie Sanders' party now. This is the party he is currently propping up and won't publicly oppose or criticize. Way to go, Bernie. Jimmy Dore. And he takes shit too. When you call out Bernie for propping up this awful party, you take shit. I'm not doing this. Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me. And other progressive indie media people, I didn't do this. Jimmy didn't do this. Look, you're helping them. Oh. Bernie Sanders will go down in history as like the biggest quitter. He had his moment. Right now, we could be like, Bernie's going to be president. He took the lead, called out Joe Biden and the Democrats, starting with that debate on March 15th as the pandemic got worse. Bernie said, I'm going to do the whole country wants Medicare for all now. And then when the George Floyd thing happened, Bernie has been on the forefront. He's gone down and talked to protesters. He said, this is what we do. This is what we need. We need to defund the police. And everyone, the whole country be like, Bernie's our guy. Bernie's our guy. What did the protests show us? Compare 3 weeks ago or whatever, those mainly white nationalist Trump supporters that showed up with their automatic weapons to open up the country, right? Of course, the cops didn't show up for riot gear for them. They show up with automatic weapons. The cops don't show up with riot gear. There's a handful of cities around the country. What's been going on? All 50 states, every city, small towns, big town, Idaho, fucking Idaho, Utah, right? And 18 countries around the world. What does that show you? There's the like white nationalist Trump supporter, they're barely alive. There's barely any of them. They're dangerous, they're scary, we need to do something about them. But this fact that there's this groundswell, no there isn't, they're wrong. And they know they're wrong, they're on their way out. There's more of us than there are of them. And Bernie, you could be leading them, but you're not. So we're done. We're shut it, done. Nina Turner, I appeal to you. I've never met you, I don't know you personally, but you seem like a person that has so much integrity and so much, you've been fighting the fight for so long, you know this is wrong. You know it. You're the one that called, you said, yeah, of course Trump is racist, but there's racists in the Democratic Party. You said that like a year ago. I did a video on it. It's one of my most watched videos. Nina, you gotta wake up from this, man. Get out of here. This is an abusive relationship. And the Democratic Party acts like abusers. What do abusers say? Well, if you leave me, who's going to want you? That's what abusers say. Join Movement for a People's Party, Nina, please. Otherwise, there's this. This is really the guy you want. Joe Biden.
And the idea that instead of standing there and teaching a cop when there's an unarmed person coming at him with a knife or something to shoot him in the leg instead of in the heart is a very different thing. There's a lot of different things that can change. And the idea that instead of standing there and teaching a cop when there's an unarmed person coming at him with a knife or something to shoot him in the leg instead of in the heart is a very different thing. There's a lot of different things that can change.
So Joe Biden's your guy.
And the idea that instead of
Joe
standing there
and neoliberals are going to get mad at me for posting that. I didn't say that. Joe Biden, you really think he doesn't want to defund the police? And he's going to tell cops to shoot people in the leg rather than the heart. Anybody that got shot with rubber bullets this past week or so, last 2 weeks, does that make you feel safe? No one's going to call this shit out on the corporate media because they get money for private prisons. They get money from the military-industrial complex, which sells weapons to police departments. That's why you got to come here. Thanks for watching. Shave your knuckles for justice. Oh, Democrats, why are you so dumb? 437 watching, 341 likes. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Like it up. How do you lose? Yeah, God. Jason R. Shave your knuckles for justice, Jason. This is a great way to support the show. What Jason and everybody else here is doing, hit the dollar icon button. A lot of great ways to support the show. Go to patreon.com/GrantMelwood, rockfin.com/GrantMelwood. Rockfin, blockchain cryptocurrency. They don't censor me at Rockfin. They don't cut my live streams. They have pulled down 0 videos. They don't demonetize any of my videos like YouTube does. YouTube, since April, has cut a live stream and pulled it. And pulled a video, didn't demonetize it, pulled the video just asking questions about a Chinese doctor that died in a murder-suicide who was investigating, was doing research on COVID-19. I just asked some questions. They pulled it. Jason R., imagine how much racism would be averted by a healthy savings account and stable free healthcare. Me. Exactly. I know. We fix the economic issues, the systemic racism of the laws that are racist, of like, oh, I don't know, maybe not hiring Nazis and Klan members on the police force. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a wacky lefty. But also the economic ones. The economic, give the whole country good jobs and good education and good health care. How many people would stop being white nationalists? How many people? I interviewed a guy that was raised white nationalist, and then he went to prison, and he changed, and he was like, Jesus, and he changed. Because again, they were raised in a sheltered environment, were fed a bunch of bullshit, lies, and propaganda and hate. Imagine if all Americans, no one would want to be a Trump. Why? That gun, Second Amendment, that's fear. That's fear. And behind fear is a lot of pain, a lot of sadness, right? That anger, behind that is fear, behind that is pain. Pain from some past hurt, maybe from childhood, maybe from growing up, maybe from whatever. So we fix these economic problems for everybody, the whole country, we actually would have peace. Because we're on the brink of just a collapse, civil war, like it'll be like how the Israelis treat the Palestinians, or what Northern Ireland was like in the 70s. You had the British Empire was on its last legs, and it was doubling down on the oppression of the Irish. And the IRA came back and said, we're going to fight and start bombs. And there was activists, and the British government just doubled down on them. And then the Ulster Defense Force was like a pro-British paramilitary organization, as was the IRA. And so there was just bombings and shootings on the street. So then it was just like, I don't want that. I don't want everybody getting a gun and picking a side. I don't want to do that. That'll destroy America. And I don't think people that are like, it's time to lock and load and take care of business. It's like, I don't think you understand what living in a war zone is like. You're under stress all the time. Your body, you're constantly on alert. You won't sleep well. All these other health issues pop up. It's a nightmare. You want to go through that? Pipe bombs, Molotov cocktails, tanks on your street. That's what it'll be if everybody just gets their gun and starts shooting. Emberg 33, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice, tweeted you an article on Great Scott fundraising. Right on. RBU 83145. You're making Gotham great again, RBU 8145. TK421, why aren't you at your post? What on earth is going on in the country which is described as the bastion of freedom and democracy? Is it the Russians? Yes, of course it is. Yes, Russians did it. No, like, the lie of America is crumbling. We're the good guys. Like, until we acknowledge we brought slaves here and on stolen land with stolen people, and that isn't all, that was a long time ago. No, it's still, versions of that are still happening. Corporations can just steal land, put pipelines across sovereign land, across state land, and the Dakota Access Pipeline what was it? Grand Forks, North Dakota voted, we don't want that pipeline coming near us because it could contaminate our water. We don't want it. Largely white community. Okay. The pipeline company said, okay, fine. No, but we're going to put it across Native American land. And when they said, no, we don't want it, they're like, too fucking bad. We're sending the cops in and tiger swan. You're going to have to eat it. And Obama just said, let's see how this plays out. That's what Obama said. Direct quote. Karen Webster, what's up? Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. The Artist on the Street was pretty cool. Yeah, if you haven't, please watch that. It was really, it's a really cool segment. I just dropped it earlier today. It's like 10, 11 minutes long. You see all this different artwork. She was just doing one panel and all these other artists had already finished. It's just beautiful, and it gives me hope. It gives me hope. And when I hear about you, when earlier somebody said the outpouring of support in Seattle was amazing. You know, after that white nationalist drove through the crowd. One asshole, thousands of good people of all different ethnicities and races doing the right thing. One asshole shows up and they wouldn't let him, you know, he doesn't win. They don't win. They don't win. We're not going to let them win. Your hatred, your racism, your fascism is not going to win. It's not going to win. There's more of us than there are of you. Get on the right side of history. You're against America. You're against the flag that you claim to like so much. You're against it. Read the Constitution. Read the Bill of Rights. And read the teachings of Jesus Christ. You claim to be a Christian. You're a white Christian. Read about how Jesus hung out with prostitutes and lepers and washed the feet of the poor. And there's no, he didn't have an AR-15. Black Lives Matter doesn't mean they matter more than a white life. That's not when people go, why is their life more? No, right now, their lives matter less. A cop can just kill them. They're 3 times more likely to go to prison for smoking weed. They just want to matter as much as your life. That's all. That's all they're asking for. In the 60s, they were just asking for civil rights. We just want civility. That's it. That's it. It's not. They're not coming to take away your whiteness. They're not coming to take away your neighborhood. They're not coming to take away your. They're not coming for that. They just want the same. The inequalities are across the board. Healthcare. Jason R. Shaving Knuckles for Justice. Plan for police. 1 week on, 1 week off like firemen, but more for mental health. Still get paid on week off. Get overtime for doing social work in the area you patrol, but out of uniform and unarmed. Yeah, there's a lot of great things being talked about, you know. There needs to be serious psych evals. There needs to be at least bi-yearly to see if the cop has developed PTSD. I mean, like all this stuff. Get rid of the arming cops and have, you know, community outreach that deals with like homelessness and poverty and, you know, and all that stuff. That's what we need. We need really, and there's some good stuff coming out of the Minneapolis City Council that I'm reading. We need so much stuff. We need to like civilian oversight. We need, I mean, it's just like, you know, yeah. Bernie supported Bill Clinton after NAFTA and the crime bill. Of course. I aspire. Shaving Knuckles for Justice. Thanks for sharing, Graham. As a black man, my heart has been so blessed by my Caucasian brothers standing in the gap for me and using their platform to validate my right to live. Hey, man, my pleasure. I'm sorry it took so long for so many of us, but it's like what we all got to do. It's on us. We're all in the brotherhood of man, and this ain't right. We all got to wake up every morning and like, is everyone taken care of? Who isn't? How do we fix this? This ain't right. You know? So I'm glad. I'm happy to help. I'm trying to do the best that I can. I'm just one guy, but all of us together are so powerful. And you're seeing that. These last 2 weeks, we're seeing it. We're seeing what's happening. Like we're seeing change. It's not changing immediately, but it's big change, man. We're in just a cataclysmic shift for the better. So this is going to be, and we're all citizen journalists. We all got to, like, if we go out to the protest, pass it along. And if you're not comfortable going to a protest because you have, you're in the high risk group for COVID-19, I get it. There's a lot of other ways. Sign petitions, get involved, other ways, call your representatives, because we got to call our like nonstop every day, 10 minutes a day, just social justice, 10 minutes a day. Make some calls every day. Thanks for supporting the show. Harry C. Smith. You're making Gotham great again, Harry. I lived in Australia for 13 years. 30 people I've known best, more were abused in childhood sexually, 40% and or physically, another 20% than weren't. It's brutal. It's, I think it's 1 in 4 women and 1 in 6 men. And I think the 1 in 6 might be higher because men are less likely to report it. It's brutal. When billionaires rape and sell children around the planet, that's the leadership of this world, is do whatever we want, cover up Epstein. Pieces of shit. Anthony, why were cops wake up so early? To beat the crowds. Haha. Matthew Alabastro, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Would you write a book? If so, on what? I don't know. I did write one book. I wrote several chapters in the Comedy Filmer's Guide to Movies. It was about movies. It's available at grandmelon.com. It's $25. It includes shipping. So you can read that book. If I were to write another one, I don't know. Maybe about being like a male survivor and what that's like. Because there's a really good book, if there's any male survivors watching right now, called Victims No Longer. And it's a book written, it's like the best book written for like male survivors of childhood sexual trauma. It's a pretty important book. And there's a chapter in there for partners of men that have gone through that. So if there's anybody in a relationship with somebody that's going through that, it really helps explain a lot. So I don't know. I've thought about, like, is there like a screenplay to write, to kind of talk about, not like the Graham Elwood story, but sort of like taking the things that actually happened to me and putting them, because like the movie Spotlight was really important and significant film. And again, Spotlight, that movie took place in Boston, and part of the themes of that movie was like the Irish. It's an Irish Catholic town, Boston, right? And the Irish Catholics in that town were like, this has been going on for how long, and we haven't really called it out. That's a big thing that comes up in that movie, is like, this is our town and we let this happen. We talked about it a little bit. That's it. If you haven't seen Spotlight, watch that. It's an amazing cast. It's based on an absolute true story. And it shows you how, when systemic abuse is happening in a community, and how it's allowed to happen, and how some people just go, oh man. And how they finally said, we can't do this anymore. The awakening by the investigative journalism of the Spotlight team, when they really started uncovering it, they were like, Jesus. And they're almost all, the real journalists were all Irish Catholics who grew up in Boston. And Stanley Tucci plays an Armenian lawyer who goes, they think they're so better than, they think they're better than everybody else. Look how they treat their children. And there's this line in there: if it takes a village to raise a child, then it takes a village to abuse one. So the village of America has allowed child abuse, domestic violence, sexual assault, and systemic racism and the killing of black people and other people of color. That American village has allowed that to happen. And the American village is allowing the systemic genocide here and all the countries we're bombing. What's happening in Yemen is a genocide. And our whole village is just letting it happen. So we're all waking up now. Many of us are waking up now, which is a really good thing. But we got to wake up to all of it. We fix police reform, and crime rate goes down, and black people aren't getting killed, and it's all great. And then we just go, whew, no, we can't stop. We have this momentum. It's why I keep doing the Epstein thing. And Whitney Webb said this. She's like, Graham, I just refuse to accept that they can get away with this. Everybody's seeing the videos of the cops beating the shit out of people and killing George Floyd, going, we're all going, we refuse to accept that this is our country. I refuse to accept that our world, that the human race is allowing this abuse from the ruling class. That they're just treating people like shit, like animals. The way that cop treated George Floyd, he's less than, he's an animal. Sounds very similar to how like Maria Farmer and Virginia Roberts Giuffre talked about how Ghislaine Maxwell talked about them. You're less than, you're a piece of shit. We can just rape and sell you and traffic you. It's the same mentality. I have power, I'm better than you, you're less than, you're an animal, fuck you. I can kill you, I can rape you, I can sell you, I can jail you. Shut the fuck up. That's the mentality. And it pervades every corner of our society, on every corner of the planet. And that's why we have to keep talking about this. So that's a long answer to your question, would you write a book? Red Economics, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. The same Dems that kneel for George Floyd are the same Dems caught in the 2016 DNC leak saying to promise no support for concrete policy positions and limit number of Black Lives Matter activists at events. Thank you. It's another great show to watch, Red Economics. Good to see you back here, Stevie. Hope things are good for you. What a great point. Man, I gotta find that. I gotta go through, find those leaks. Maybe email them to me or something, or direct message me on Twitter or something. I want to go through that. Because all the vote any blue will do, but just Biden, lesser of two evils, who don't, none of those people that I talk to or see on social media, none of them want to acknowledge the Podesta emails from 2016. They're always like, yeah, they don't, because I can tell they haven't really read them. Or they only saw a couple of them through the lens of corporate media. Yeah, that's the Democratic Party that said in the leaks they want to block Black Lives Matter activists. Thank you for bringing that up, Stevie. Go watch Redneck Economics. Fantastic show. I really appreciate it. Look at that. Limit the number of Black Lives Matter activists at events. They wanted to distance themselves from Black Lives Matter. Keep them just close enough to try to get the black vote to say we're better than the Republicans, but not really. That's the Democratic Party. Let's all wear this African, sash or whatever and take a knee. Platitudes. Jackwagons. Thanks for bringing that up. Hey, Mares, what's up, hey, Mares? Shave your knuckles for justice. Oh my God, I just laughed so hard. Sake came out of my nose. Mew, 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 mew. Even my Persian cat knew that it was 100% prime BS. Yes. Just every time you read some corporate Democrat tweet, just hear it that way. We're going to fight to support them, meow, 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 meow. We're going to stand and resist, and we're together in unity for Black Lives and meow, 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 meow. That's what they sound like to me. Just the most open gesture, like nothing behind it, no real action. We're gonna, like from their Escalade, like drive-through activism. They just roll up in their Escalade, roll down the windows. We're here to fight together. We're all in this unity together, and we'll get through this. Drive off to their yacht. You're like, oh, wow, we're all in this together. Thanks. I really appreciate it. Frozen. Let it go, let it go. Why does this freeze? Can you hear me, or is just the image frozen? Hey, Mares for the win, and my screen is frozen. It's Graham's radio show. All right, you'll take 3 value platitude meals. This keeps happening. God. All right, hold on. Hold on. Go, hold on. Hold on. Graham's radio show. 28 past the hour, traffic on the Dodge. It's KTPV, the political vigilante, afternoon drive time. Well, now we got nothing. Oh boy. Hello. I don't know what to tell you. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? I'm not sure what's going. I don't know why this is happening. I've reset OBS. All right. I had another segment to do. Can you guys hear me okay? Can you hear me okay? Black Lives Matter, absolutely. Yeah, YouTube is still fucking with me. Good audio. All right. Well, I'm taking my clothes off. That's right. No clothes. Screen is black. Yep, I can see it. I don't know what to do. It's not, for some reason now, well, let's try this. For some reason now, OBS is not recognizing my webcam, and I don't know what is causing that. So let's try to reboot this. If I can't get the camera to work, I'm just going to have to read the Super Chats audio style. And then, oh, it's podcast. We can hear me, just no image. Okay, cool. Oh, wait a minute. I think we fixed it. Hey, there we go. Oh, we're back. I just had to reboot the transcoder. Reboot your transcoder. Ba boom 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 ba boom boom ba boom boom. Reboot your transcoder. You can see me. Video. You're back right on. Liar, you're not naked. Well, I was. I really am Batman. Matt S. Shave your knuckles for justice. Agreed on the insecure, weak NRA white guys, but because they don't really pose a threat, I feel that's why cops didn't overreact to their protests. Plus, it's like it shows who the cops really are. Guys show up with automatic weapons, they're like, oh. A bunch of people show up with peaceful protest signs, they're like, oh, locked and loaded. You know? Crazy. Rogue Judas. What's up, Rogue Judas? Shave your knuckles for justice. I don't believe any of these elites mean to assist in reforming the police regardless, but hearing Cuomo say there's a need felt good at first. Yeah. I mean, look, some people that are speaking out, that's great when they're saying talking reform, but what they say and what actually happens, that's where we all have to pay such close attention, more than ever. Because they're going to go, we're going to police reform, and then behind closed doors, some bill that's like, wait a minute, this isn't what we want. Are you still allowing, police reform, but we're going to give them a tank? What? Wait, whoa, who said that? Like, just, you know what I mean? Propaganda. A. Gray, shave your knuckles for justice. Male prison rape, totally unreported. Thoughts? Yeah, I mean, that's a huge thing that happens in prison, and men don't want to report it because they feel, any rape victim feels a lot of shame, but men, like, you should have fought him off. You're a man. How did you let that happen? Yeah. Again, our prison system just doesn't reform criminals. It makes them worse. It's awful. And it's a good thing you brought up. I appreciate you bringing that up, A. Gray, but it's absolutely true. Men don't talk about it. Men don't report it. Men don't like 30% of domestic abuse is women against men, and that's only what's reported. And men typically report that later because that's whole part of the toxic masculinity thing. See how this is all connected? Like, a warlike culture that profits from war overseas and here, and the abuse of children creates toxic masculinity, which just feeds itself. The Second Amendment, the gun guys, the cops that just want to fucking whoop your, telling young boys of any ethnicity in any community, shut up, man up, don't cry. That's serious. That's serious. And that breeds toxic masculinity. Thanks for bringing that up, man. Not safe, cruel and unusual punishment. Free Julian Assange. Absolutely. It's total class struggle. Absolutely. Andrew Dwyer, shave your knuckles for justice. Do you ever watch Orange is the New Black? Yeah, I didn't watch the last season because I felt like they went on one season too long. But I watched that a lot, and I liked it because it really showed, I mean, it's based on a true story, of this privileged white girl. And in that show, you see the private prison industry. You see how most of the people in prison are poor, and how the whole system, that when they show everybody's backstory, you're like, oh God, you know, they made a mistake or they screwed up or did something dumb, but then the system just makes it harder and keeps them back in prison, you know? And it's like you see the poverty, and it's mostly poor people in jail. I mean, it's just, and how corrupt the whole system is. I mean, it is a scathing indictment of our prison system, and rightfully so. It's just like, it's brutal, and I like the show. Again, I thought it went at one season too long, but it showed you the whole awful system. There's a girl that dies in one of the, not this, maybe the second to last season or something, because the cop put his knee in her neck, if I'm not mistaken. Or the guard, rather, in the series. Yeah, it's a good series. North American Ape, shave your knuckles for justice. I don't care for the theater. We should only care about substantive change. This is how we end up with more streets named Black Lives Matter and barely any reform. Absolutely, and that's the critical thing. People got to really like going to a protest and making a sign and retweeting stuff. That's great, but if we don't get real change, it means nothing. Exactly, and be careful, because they're gonna, like, the mayor of Los Angeles, Eric Garcetti, big Democrat. He said, oh, we're going to cut the budget for the police by $150 million. Well, that sounds like a lot of money. It's a $3 billion budget. That's 5%. That's 5%. And we can't, exactly, that's such a great point, because they'll just put Black Lives Matter on a street and build a statue, but nothing really will change. We got to say no to that. We don't want a statue or a street named after it. We want real reform, and we have to pay close attention. This is why I'm encouraged, because it's a lot of younger people involved in this who grew up with the internet, right? My age group, mid 40s and older, I didn't start using the internet till I was in my 20s. Not that I don't know how to do it, obviously. I have a YouTube show, but they're so good at just getting on it. Nope, this is not good enough. And people are just like, no. When the mayor came back with 150 grand, everybody cheered and then started chanting, not enough, not enough, not enough. It's happening. And it's such a great point. We have to stay on top of this, because they'll give us just the little, again, the window dressing reforms. You know, oh, we got a female police chief. So? Jackie Lacey, the district attorney, is a black woman. She's a Democrat. She won't prosecute a cop at all, because the system is completely broken and needs to be changed. So you can, yeah, do these like more women and diversity all you want, but if the system still allows this to happen, there's no oversight by cops, they're given military grade weapons, on down the line, all the things we've been talking about, it doesn't matter. Because look, we've had female cops kill unarmed black men and get acquitted. We've had black cops kill unarmed black men and get acquitted. We've had Latino cops kill unarmed black men and get acquitted. It's mostly white cops for sure, and they're white nationalists and all that stuff, but that's the point. It's more of that bullshit reform from within crap that I talk about. Like reforming the police department from within. No, restructure it. We can reform the Democratic Party. It's the joke I always make. It's like, I'm going to join a drug cartel and I'm going to reform it from within. Instead of selling, cocaine and heroin, crystal meth that kills people and ruins people's lives, and they terrorize, they behead people, they rape, these drug cartels are brutal. I'm going to get them to sell vegan smoothies, and I know we can do it. No, we need to get rid of drug cartels. We need to get rid of the demand for drugs. But if we decriminalize drugs, then how's the CIA going to make money? Whoops. We don't want to lose CIA jobs. It's good for the economy that the CIA is. Hey, Mayor, shave your knuckles for justice. Batman was at Black Lives Matter in DC. Would you get in character for LA to spread the message of unity and no harbor for corruption? Possibly, yeah. I could potentially do that. Yeah, I would dress as Batman for sure. I would dress as Batman for sure. I would dress as Batman for sure. DC mayor paints streets and gets praise from everyone while he increases police budget by $19 million. America, fuck yeah. That's what we got to pay attention to. Again. Oh, the DC mayor. That's not change. That is literally whitewash. That is the term of whitewash. It's just painting some over it. Yeah. The elites will not go willingly, Pat. You got that right. They're not going to go willingly. All right. I think I got one more segment and then we'll... Wait a minute. Let me just make sure that's recording. Wait. Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching The Political Vigilante, rising up from the darkness of the corruption of Gotham. Comes a bat-like creature with the wings of truth, swooping in on the lies of the ruling class, on the racists, on the fascists, and shaves your knuckles for justice. Well, guess what? A federal judge has basically said, has come out and been critical in a ruling against the cops overreacting to all of the George Floyd protests around the country. Federal judge says smashing windows and spraying graffiti is fair trade if it means protesters' bones aren't broken by the police. Wait, what? Judge R. Brooke Jackson said, if a store's windows must be broken to prevent a protester's facial bones from being broken or eye being permanently damaged, that is more than a fair trade. I've talked about this since it happened. I got into a physical confrontation with a guy in Santa Monica because I was like, look, I'm not happy. Looting happened in my town. There's smashed up windows in my city, less than a mile from where I live. A store 4 blocks from me got hit. And some of them were small businesses, and that breaks my heart. I don't want any small business owners to lose their business. That's awful. What bothered me was the media talking about like that's the worst thing that happened. They didn't talk about the police brutality. They didn't talk about the cops escalating it. They didn't talk about white nationalists that have smashed windows, undercover cops that have smashed windows. And even if the windows were smashed by protesters, they didn't talk about the economic reasons that created it, and they make it that they don't talk about the looting that Wall Street does. And I'm sorry. It's like George Floyd getting murdered. That's the worst thing that's ever happened. The looting is bad, and I'm sorry that it happened, but let's address what caused this, and just letting the cops do whatever they want, and this judge is calling it out. Jackson wrote that he does not agree with property damage during the protests. Neither do I. But that the threat to physical safety and free speech outweighs the threat to property. Whoa, are you sure you're a judge in capitalist America? That's the thing. People act like losing property is like the worst crime. It's why America's like, someone's going to steal from me. I'm going to shoot them. You really want to kill someone because they stole something from, like, I don't want anyone to break in and steal my stuff, but I'm like, I don't want to kill. What am I? Take this TV. I don't want to kill you for it. Like, what? Wow, a judge with some common sense. The threat to physical safety and free speech outweighs the threat to property. Yeah, so if we're going to choose property, free speech, or physical safety, guess what? Property should be in the back seat. You shouldn't get your head kicked in by cops, or you shouldn't be shot with rubber bullets, or have a cop car run you over. And freedom of speech is the cornerstone of our democracy, is it not? The First Amendment? Am I wrong? So if we got to choose, hooray for this judge. Wow, a judge that actually gets the law and the Constitution. He added some action by police in the city and across the country as being disgusting. Thank you. And the bullshit corporate media, they're going to have this judge on? Is Tucker Carlson going to interview him? Is CNN going to interview him? CBS, the local CBS affiliate in Los Angeles, all they do is kiss LAPD's ass. They won't acknowledge. A judge had to call out how disgusting the baby. Eric Garcetti, well, the mayors of all these cities won't say that it was disgusting how the police acted. Because they need the cop union to get reelected. Don't stand on the right side of things. Just, weasel and snake and shift your way into getting position to get reelected. I want Eric Garcetti out of this city. I want the police chief, Michael Moore, he needs to be fired immediately and go on trial. He said the Denver police failed in its duty to police its own. A federal judge said this. This is significant. And this is what protesting and pressure, political pressure, does. I don't know what this guy's record is. I don't know this judge at all. I don't know anything about him other than this article. Maybe he's always been like this. Great. But I bet you he watched and woke up and went, man. And I don't know how you watch all these videos after videos of cops just beating the shit out of people and not go, this is completely, our cops are out of control. In Philadelphia, they pinned those people and just shot tear gas at them. There's videos in a city where they're slashing the tires of media people. The cops are doing that. There's videos in Boston or something where they're smashing water. Medics set up water and they're sticking knives in bottles of water. They didn't want protesters to have water. That is disgusting. It's immoral and it's illegal and it's unconstitutional. And if you're a cop and you're not disgusted by this and you're going to back the badge no matter what, then I got nothing to say to you. You're part of the problem. You are part of the problem. Don't give me this few bad apples nonsense. No. This past week and a half, 2 weeks has shown it's not a few bad apples. It is a complete problem. This is what happens when you don't have civilian oversight. They can do whatever the fuck they want. When they get unlimited funding and they're militarized, this is what happens. So hats off to this judge for doing the right thing. Shave your knuckles for justice. I wonder if he'll be interviewed on corporate media. Probably not. I'd like to talk to him if he's available. Make Gotham great again. All right, kids. Did it freeze up again? 410 likes, ladies and gentlemen. All right, everybody. What song you want me to sing to get on out of here? We've been talking for a little over 2 hours. Michael Williams, watch the last season. It's the best season. Oh, okay. Of Orange is the New Black. All right. I'll do that, Michael. You got it. You got it. Hey, Mares! Shave your knuckles for justice. Silver lining. Shoot the ruling class and their enforcers into space and save the planet without their servants. Here you go. Enjoy Space Force. Oh, that's what we do. We trick the ruling class like, look, the planet's going undone. We got to get you guys out of here. You're protected. You're the chosen ruling class. Put them on a spaceship. Get those two. We got a spaceship for the 3,000 billionaires that run the planet. Guys, get out. You guys got to go. You got to go. The planet's coming undone. You know, don't worry. We'll be taken care of. We'll protect your money down here. Shoot them into space. Later, assholes. We seize all their money, we redistribute it to their employees and anyone they abused, and we end the wars and the pillaging of their resources and the human trafficking and the private prisons. It's all done. The coal mines, it's all done. They're all, thank you. God damn, Maris, that's the greatest idea I've ever heard in my life. Oh, that's the greatest idea I've ever heard in my life. Harry C. Smith, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Watch Jimmy interview ex-cop whistleblower Michael A. Woods from 3 years ago. Fascinating, his detailed plan for total cop reform. You missed interview. Okay, you're not the first person to bring that up. Thank you, Harry. I got to reach out to that guy. CR, good work, Graham. Good work for you, CR. You guys are awesome. You make this show great. You watch my show. You support it. You give me your hard-earned money, and those of you who money is tight, don't feel bad. The fact that you're just here, that you hit the like button, that you share it on your social media, those are all great free ways to support what I'm doing. You guys make this great. You guys are helping this community. You guys are making Gotham great again. You're all political vigilantes. You're all doing this. You're supporting my show. You're bringing up solutions. It's fucking awesome, man. Fuck Bezos and Musk and their billionaire buttholes. Oh, shit. Let's do... Today was a good day. Ice Cube. Gotta say it was a good day. As Shatner? How about that? How about that? Today was a good day, man. I posted a cool video about the artists. Weather was nice. Got a little surfing in. Came here. Did this live stream. Yeah. Oh, my computer's slowing up. All right, kids. As William Shatner. What's up? Thanks, everybody. What a fun show. Okay, come on. There we go. Okay, come on. Come on, robot. You can do it. You can do it. Safari is being weird. Live long and prosper. You got that. Glad you liked it. That was a great song. I love that song. God, I love that song. And you really read the lyric and listen to the lyrics, and it's like it was a good day because every day is all this awful, difficult shit to deal with. And the helicopters, I mean, that relates to me right now. When there was like news helicopters and cop helicopters and military helicopters flying around here, man. Eileen Love, Gamer for Life. This is why I fucking love this new generation. Y'all are fed the fuck up. Right on. Substitute gun with phaser. An inner city with neutral zone. All right. There's one. I think there's one super chat that I missed. I want to make sure I got the last one. Andrew Tate, good work, my dude. Thank you, Andrew. Really appreciate it. Thanks, everybody, for supporting the show. You're all making Gotham great again. Go to grahamelwood.com. Great way to support the show. I got stuff for as cheap as $15, free shipping. I'll autograph it. I put it in packaging made from recycled materials. I use the post office, which is union labor. You're supporting small business. My Vigilante will be available soon in the next day or two. If you're a Patreon supporter, you'll get first crack at it. I'll put it on the Patreon page for about 20 minutes or so, and then I'll open it to everybody else because there's only 50 of those tees made. And if money's tight, do not worry about it. Like, share, subscribe, put the videos out on your social media. Listen to my Pandora. I have a Pandora channel. It's free. It's both my comedy albums. That's a great free way. You get entertainment. I get supported because they pay me residual income. There's Rockfin, there's Patreon. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You're all making Gotham great again. And we are fucking making Gotham great again. And you're all political vigilantes. And I gotta say, today was a good day.